Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I am going to be reviewing this Maybelline Superstay Better Skin Foundation and Concealer. So I got the full set of it and I'm not going to be doing a first impression. I have been using this product for 2 weeks. 2 weeks exactly today. And so I'm just going to show it to you on my face, tell you my thoughts, I'm going to read you about the product and everything like that. The first thing that I want to do is read to you what Ulta's website says about it. This foundation is $11.99 on Ulta's website. Maybelline's Superstay Better Skin Foundation gives an all-day flawless coverage and better looking skin in 3 weeks. The foundation reduces the appearance of spots, bumps, dullness, and redness and gives you a brighter, more even, smoother complexion. So I have not been using it long enough to know if that is true. Even if I had been using it long enough to know, my skin has been breaking out really badly because we bought the same kind of face wash that we always do, except we bought the generic brand, and the generic brand smells really chemically and gross, and it's not the same, and it's been breaking me out really bad. So not that I would know anyway, but I am just gonna tell you like all the normal things people would tell you about a foundation and if it's good or not. So first I am going to show you the clips that I recorded of me applying it, and I kind of say a few things like about it while I'm doing it, and then I'll come back and give you the whole thing, like all my thoughts in order, like everything. So I'm gonna take that much of the foundation on my hand. It's just one pump, and I'm going to start on this side of my face and use a brush and then show you how it applies on the other side with a beauty blender. On just one half of my face. It really does have pretty decent coverage, if you can tell under my eyes. And I only like put foundation underneath of there that was left over on my brush. I didn't just like actually put foundation there, so. Okay, and here it is on all of my face. Now, the Beauty Blender side, I really do love the way that it looks on the Beauty Blender side when I am not breaking out. If I do not have pimples or anything like that, this looks so amazing on the skin. Overall, it looks really nice, except for the fact that it doesn't cover these pimples. So as you can see here, it does give pretty dang good coverage on the forehead, and it looks very nice on my skin. Normally my forehead this close up to the camera looks really cakey and disgusting, but this foundation honestly looks so nice, and it gives really good coverage to like dark spots and little things like that. Maybe not like really big pimples like this, but it definitely gives good coverage to little dark spots, and it doesn't make my skin look cakey and nasty. I really love the way that it sits on the skin, and especially in between my eyebrows, it makes a very big difference. Right here in between my eyebrows is my biggest problem area on my entire face. I hate the way foundations look in between my eyebrows. They always look so nasty, and they like cling along the edges of my brows, and it just looks awful. But even though this is not covering things like this, that doesn't matter to me because it looks so good. And all I need to do is put a tiny speck of concealer right there, and it'll go away, and then it won't look cakey and disgusting in this area. I really love the way this foundation looks in that area of my skin. So now for one of the cons that this foundation does have, it doesn't look the best in this whole area when I first apply it. As the day goes on, it starts to melt into the skin and look better and better with time. But when I do first apply it, it does look pretty cakey, especially right here. It just doesn't sit well on my nose when I first apply it. It looks kind of powdery and cakey. But that does go away as soon as my skin heats up and melts the product into my skin. Then it really does look a lot better eventually. The cheeks is one place that the foundation actually just looks really, really nice. I love the way it looks on my cheeks. It just looks really smooth, and I don't think that it looks cakey in this area at all. This whole area is really smooth. And it also doesn't get super, super cakey around my mouth either. That is another place where foundations tend to really look disgusting on my face. But this foundation looks pretty nice around my mouth. I mean, except for these two monsters, obviously. But like the rest of it around my mouth looks alright to me, especially compared to like other foundations. I do want to show you me applying this concealer. We will apply it on these blemishes and underneath of my eyes. Okay, so we're going to start with underneath of the eyes. I do like to come down here a wee bit. I know this camera kind of goes blurry for a second a lot. I have not yet quite learned the ropes of it fully, but we'll just cover up anything I feel like. And then do you see how quickly that blended out? Like, it blended out really, really quickly. I didn't have to work at it too hard or mess with it too much for it to blend out. This is what it looks like underneath of my eyes. No powder. I think it looks really, really smooth, and it doesn't look too cakey. I mean, obviously it's not the most full coverage concealer ever, but I am going to add like one little more dot right there because this eye is always my problem eye. For everything, for lashes, under eye bags, brow, everything on this side is just a hot mess, disaster. So, okay, and now taking this brush for my whole face and this brush for underneath of my eyes, I am going to set mostly with this Ofra just white setting powder, which this does have a really, really bad white cast, like really, really extremely bad. So I do have to kind of like kick off that powder with a little bit of this one in order to not have a really, really bad white cast all over my face. Okay, so now first off with the foundation, the application of this is really, really nice with a sponge. I really like the way it looks super natural and like kind of a little bit more glowy. I wouldn't really say dewy and wet looking, more so just kind of like more glowy, more natural on this side. But with the sponge, it does not have as much coverage as you would have seen in the clips. This side just, it takes away a little bit of coverage, so you do have to build it up with a second layer if you do it with the Beauty Blender, but I really do like the way that it looks. Although applying it with a brush really doesn't make too much of a difference. It's the same finish and everything. It just gives you a little bit more coverage right off the bat. It blends easy with both the Beauty Blender and the brush, like both sides. It blends really, really well. It's a really easy foundation to get on your skin and to get it look looking even and nice. My favorite way to apply this foundation, as well as most foundations, is I'll dot it everywhere, buff it out with the brush real quick, and then go over everywhere and blend it all out with a beauty blender. That's my favorite way to apply most foundations. Now, the feel of it is really, really lightweight on the skin. It feels really nice. I don't like feel it sitting on my skin. Like, I can't just feel it sitting there when I wear this. It does feel a little bit heavier when I put my powder over top of it, but that's just because that powder is a really heavy powder. It does that to any foundation I put it on. It just makes it feel heavier. I don't really have a powder that I really love, so when I wear it on its own and I do not set it, it feels really lightweight. It doesn't feel greasy on my skin, but it doesn't feel powdery either. It just feels like nice and natural. The lasting power on the foundation is really, really nice. It lasts all day for me. Like, I won't have to touch it up and like re-blend things and then kind of like re-powder. It stays looking nice all day. It even gets like a better looking throughout the day. The more you wear it on your skin, the more it'll kind of melt into the skin, and any areas like that you thought might have looked cakey when you first applied it, they will like meld into the skin and look like really a lot nicer throughout the day, and it does last really well. Now, for the concealer, I would consider this full coverage. I'm sure there are concealers that are more full coverage than this, but it definitely provides full coverage. I only did one swipe of application all over under my eyes. I did one extra dot right in here, but other than that, it's all just one stroke, and my powder that I use does not add any more coverage, and my dark circles are really bad and I have a lot of veins. I also did use it on my lid, but the coverage of this is really, really nice. I used to use the Maybelline Fit Me, and I would say that one is really, really sheer coverage. A lot of people like it and say that it's nice coverage, but for me, I have really, really bad dark circles, and it doesn't provide much coverage for me at all on that one. I'd have to put like 3 or 4 layers of that one. This one I only did one, and it's even more coverage than that one would give me with like 3 or 4. So I really, really do love the coverage of it. This one also blends just as well, like as you could see in the clip. I only tapped it a few times and it completely blended out, and then I was able to just set it right afterwards. It blends super easy. You don't have to work with this. It's not really thick and kind of dry. Like you don't have to work with it very much at all. I have never found that this looked cakey underneath of my eyes. Like, this always looks really nice and smooth. It doesn't look like patchy or cakey underneath of my eyes, even with the powder that I put on. And the lasting power of the concealer is really, really good under my eyes. Like, it'll stay all day underneath of my eyes and look good, and I won't have to like touch up my under eyes, but it does not last very well on pimples, which is to be expected. Like, when you put something underneath of your eyes and you set it with a powder or you bake, it's gonna tend to stay a lot better than if you put it on a blemish and then you just kind of lightly set your whole face. Because we do kind of tend to put more powder under the eyes and set it a little bit better than your whole face. You don't like to put a ton of powder all over your face. So the concealer doesn't last that well on my pimples. I would say it probably lasts 4-ish hours, maybe 5 if I'm not like doing this with my face or anything. It can last 5, but usually it lasts about 4, and I will have to kind of dot it on, like take it with me, dot it on, and just kind of tap it out with my finger, and then it's good to go. But yeah, it doesn't stay on your pimples all day. My overall opinion on this foundation and concealer, it is a really, really good duo. These two work really, really well together, as would be expected, because they are the same. They're meant to be used together. I really, really like them. I love the finish, the feel, the lasting power. It just looks really nice on the skin. It feels really nice on the skin. And I love these two products. I would definitely say that it is worth it. I would definitely say that this foundation is worth the price for $11.99. 12 bucks, that's not that bad. There's not many foundations you can find at the drugstore nowadays that are any cheaper than this at all. Like, this is a pretty nice price for a foundation at the drugstore. $12, that's not too bad. And the concealer it's $6.89 at Target, $8.99 at Ulta, and $7.99 at drugstore.com. So yeah, the cheapest one you can find is $7, and that is at Target, and it is about $9 at Ulta. These, I mean, there's nothing else to say besides I would definitely recommend them for the price. They're good. I mean, I like this a lot better than even high-end foundations that I've tried, and I have really never liked a concealer more than this, besides for that Garnier Rollerball Concealer. That one's a good one, but these are really nice for the price. I would definitely recommend. But anyway, yeah guys, that's all for today's video. Please don't forget to subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye!
Can you tell me what's the righteous way? Can you tell me what's the righteous way? Late night vibe, I'm just rhyming with Lauren.